You're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.
Talks honest. Talks honest. Talks honest. Hello and welcome to Talks Honest. You are tuned into iLive Radio UK, changing the way you listen to radio. I'm your host, Miss Law, and joining me on today's show will be Miss Mode. This is a talk platform, an opportunity for you to express yourself and discuss topics never spoken of but often thought of. You can connect with us by contacting us on 0208 638 8503 or www.iliveradio.com/ilive-UK. Please come and get involved in our discussions.
What if we spoke honestly? 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 What if we spoke honestly?
Today's topic is New Year's resolutions. Do you make New Year's resolutions?
I used to, but I don't think it works for me personally.
You say it doesn't work for you. What do you mean?
As in, I can set, for example, 2 or 3 resolutions for that year, and I don't follow them through. They would probably happen throughout the month of January and maybe bits of February, but then after that, I've just gone back to old routines.
Do you think it's because you haven't thought those resolutions through, or do you think it could be you're just doing, or should I say, just making resolutions because people make resolutions?
I think it's the latter. I think if I'm gonna do something and stick to it, it's not necessarily has to be the beginning of the month for me.
Okay.
Because I notice it doesn't work for me. And sometimes you would hear in the news that most people who do make resolutions, it doesn't follow through. So I fall into that category. So I don't. My resolutions usually start October, November time for me. I'll give you an example. When it comes to losing weight or diet, right? I like to start around October. So then when it comes into December where you start eating the wrong food or you eat too much of the foods that you don't usually eat on a regular basis, I know my mindset now is locked in because I'm in the 3rd month, which is the December, and I'm like, yeah, so I know how to plan what I'm going to eat for my Christmas meal. If I'm going around to family or friends, I know what I'm going to have. And if they don't have what I have, well, then I know they're going to have some salad or something. Or I would make the portion sizes smaller. So for me, October is my time to do my resolutions.
So you tend to do resolutions not at the end of a calendar year.
No.
But at a time when you feel you're able to meet that resolution.
Yeah, because I feel your test is when it's that festive time.
Okay.
Because that's when you indulge.
Yeah. So you really make resolutions to feast.
Well, yeah. If I'm going to be honest.
You're making space.
Yeah. But then I'm like, no, let me continue how I've been. Yes, I can enjoy the Christmas meal, but not go in so much. Like, remember what your journey's about and stick to it. And by me doing it that way, it works for me. So then if it's something not relating to losing weight or diet, and it's more or less about what I want to achieve in that year, I still start it off from October.
Okay. So technically speaking, for you, that's your resolution time.
Yeah. The January thing, the actual new year.
But I think that's more something we conform to. Society says it's an end of a financial year or it's end of a calendar year. And upon reflection of the year prior, you look at your do's and don'ts and you make forward planning for the future or the up and coming year.
Yeah.
For me, I don't make New Year's resolutions as such, but I do tend to, it comes to the end of the year, I could be sitting there watching the fireworks and stuff, and I reflect upon things, and I think about things that I would like to see change in my life.
Yeah.
One of my past resolutions was to just give up drinking.
Yeah.
Because obviously I used to indulge.
Yeah.
And I no longer indulge.
And did you start that from the actual beginning of the calendar year?
So I started that on Old Year's night. Coming into New Year's Day.
Right.
And I haven't touched a drink since.
So that's the 31st, for the listeners going into the 1st.
Yeah.
Right.
And I tend to make a lot of decisions on those days.
What, the 31st?
Leading into the 1st.
Oh, okay.
And they're quite drastic changes. Another one was when I stopped eating meat. I don't class it as a resolution. It's an opportunity to reflect on me.
Right.
An opportunity to look at where my life is going.
Yeah.
And it just happens to be that point in time. Maybe because it's like a downtime.
Yeah.
Where you've looked back and thought about things and how things have processed and so on and so forth. And it just seems like the time.
Right.
Now, in my life, throughout the year, I make a number of changes.
Yeah.
I set a number of goals and tasks for myself. So saying that I make resolutions, I'd probably say no, I don't.
Have you ever, though?
I have made a few.
Okay.
And they've been based around how I deal with things, my approach to things, things like that.
Yeah.
Dieting, something I do anyway.
Yeah.
Because the way that I eat, I listen to my body. So therefore, I don't really feel the need to make such drastic changes in my life.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like you just want to pin it down to a date.
Yeah.
And then technically speaking, that's what I would be doing.
Right.
So I stopped drinking on 31st of December.
Right.
So I no longer drink.
Yeah.
Coming into the new year. But to say that I sit there and think, I need to write resolutions. Recently, no. I think maybe when I was younger.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
You kind of jot down all the things that you need to change or you want to go in a different direction. So yes, I was before, but now I think you get to a certain point in your life, you're kind of organized, aren't you? So you're making changes daily, weekly, monthly.
Yeah.
So therefore, that need to make the resolutions is not necessary.
Yeah. Very true. Because I was thinking, even now that we're in December, I'm thinking about what changes I need to make personally in myself going into the new year and sticking to them. So I think one of them is learning to more look after number one than to worry about other people, because I have felt that certain people are not there for me the way that they should be. And I've learned that a lot in the last few years. But because of the type of person I am, I'm just a natural carer, as in I care a lot for people.
Yeah.
I'm very understanding and a good listener to people. So it's like, it's my default. It's just there all the time. But I need to try and stick to
So you need to really be amongst people's like yourself.
Yeah.
And you're finding that based on how you are, you're attracting a different kind of people.
That's right.
That aren't reciprocating what you're giving. Yeah, I understand where you're going with that. But that's something you don't necessarily have control, because maybe people are attracted to you because of what you bring.
Very true.
And then you're attracted to somebody else who possibly needs because you're a giver.
Yeah.
And you'll probably find that people are always drawn to you who need.
Yes.
So there's not a lot you can do with that other than try to be amongst people who are helpers, or, you know, like yourself.
Or like-minded. Yeah. True. Very true.
Yeah.
Because it's like, there's been times where I'm like, you know what, this year I'm going to be selfish. But it's just
that doesn't come natural. Yeah, if you're a giver,
no
you're a giver.
No matter how I try,
you're a leader.
No matter
a leader
how I
can't
try.
be a follower.
Yeah,
and vice versa. A giver can't be a taker.
That's
right. And
that's
how our genes are made up, and that's how we are as our spirits take us on a certain journey.
Yeah.
So we'll always be what we are, and when we try to change it, things can go drastically wrong because it's not your natural being.
Yeah. As I said, I don't necessarily do the resolutions, but I've kind of started somewhat, like really trying to just really be for me, and whoever's there for me, I'm going to gravitate to that person. Or
so you're forward thinking. You're just looking for people who are on the same wavelength as you.
Yeah.
Do you find that with resolutions and reflecting upon your life journey, do you find that like you come to a point where you haven't had contact with people, you reflect relationships, friendships, partnerships, and you get to a point where it may be selfish, you just think, I need to clear the slate.
Oh yeah,
and start.
But then that's not necessarily something that is a New Year's resolution for me, because it could happen in February or something, and I'm not gonna wait till the new year to then say, well, I'm not gonna be associating myself with that person.
So technically speaking, attaching New Year to resolutions is just a way to get people to jump on something.
Oh yeah.
Because technically speaking, you're making resolutions on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, definitely.
So this is probably one of the reasons why New Year resolutions don't
necessarily work.
Because it's a stigma attached to something that everyone feels they need to do, but don't know why they're doing it.
Right.
So the question is, why do you make a New Year's resolution? Is it because you want to change what you're doing, how you're doing things? Do you want to see yourself through different eyes?
I think for some, because obviously we can't just feel like everybody doesn't feel that it works. It probably does work for some people, and it's been working for them for a long time. And, obviously when it does come to a 31st of December, they know what they've written down, that they can achieve that. Not knocking that, and that's all good. But I feel when I don't know if it's like a force thing where you're forced to have these resolutions, because there'll be something on the TV saying, oh, well, what's your New Year's resolution? Let us know. And then it's like they kind of push you into that to make those decisions at that time.
Yeah, I guess it's just like anything else. It's like you listen to the news, you hear certain things, it plants a seed.
Yeah.
You listen to music, plants a seed.
Yeah.
So same thing with them forcing or advertising, oh, what's your New Year's resolution?
Yeah.
You feel the need to comply.
Yeah, and make up your list.
Yeah, make a list.
Because it could be a thing where you wasn't even really thinking about. Maybe you think, life is going great. There's nothing for you to change. But then now they've said that, you're like, oh, maybe I do need to get out my notepad and pen and start jotting down some things. Let me think what's been going on through the year. of 2019 and let me see what I could change. But then there's probably nothing for you to change. Maybe
Your
life is great
okay
for you right now. And going into the new year, it's even going to be greater. So
when I think about resolutions, what springs to mind? And I know weight loss is generally
the common one is the weight loss, the giving up of alcohol, smoking,
changing diets
and stuff like that. I know they have the veganary month, which is the whole month of January you don't eat any meat.
Oh.
Yeah, that is just to basically give your body a break from
detox.
Yeah,
basically.
from eating meat all year round.
It's funny that you mentioned veganism.
Yeah.
Because I have been transitioning from Presbyterian to going down the vegan route, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I have somewhat earmarked it to begin from January. So having heard you say that, I'm like, oh, well, look at that.
Yeah.
So maybe that will kickstart mine.
Right.
Because, like I said, along my journeys, I've made decisions around that time. Not because I'm conforming to what everyone else is doing. I think it's just an opportunity for me to have downtime and for me to reflect on everything and then make decisions because there's nothing else going on around. And they tend to be done on that date, and I tend to stick to them. So for me, my New Year's resolution will more than likely be to go over completely to being a vegan.
Right.
It's something I've thought about. It's something I'm progressing to. So I have cut certain things out. So I'm semi-prepared.
Yeah. Cool.
Roll on 1st of January.
Yeah, veganary month.
Yes. I'll be fast approaching.
Yeah.
The question also is do we understand why people make resolutions?
I'm trying to think whether it's to going down different avenues of, is it to better themselves, to improve themselves? I know it just boils down to the beginning of the year, so everything's just brand new in it because it's a new year. And then the thing is, your past is your past. You're starting fresh in a brand new year. Going forward, you feel starting at that month, that's how you mean to go on.
So when I think about it, people have this thing that a New Year's resolution is possibly that point where they make that change in their life. So what happens the rest of the year? Because obviously people are conformed to this. Make a New Year's resolution because it's a new year approaching. So my spin on it is, so what are you doing all year?
But they're trying to maintain it and stick to it. I think that's like the training. So yeah, you're starting it from January, but you're hoping by the end of the year you've achieved that now to the point where it just comes natural to you now. And then going into the next year, you're going to think of some other resolution that maybe during that year, it might not have been the beginning of January, it could be in the middle of June or July, and you're like, oh, you know what, I need to do this more, or do less of, or whatever.
Do you find that the friends that you have are making the same resolutions year in, year out?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
I've experienced that with friends as well.
Because you get friends who say they're going to do this and do that, and it's still the same pattern. So do you think that these people are being honest with themselves when they're making resolutions, or you think they're just doing it because society says we should make New Year's resolutions? I think it's because of what society says, because if you're going to make a decision to do something, you're going to do it, right? And you're going to stick to it. Don't get me wrong, it's not something where you might have a little stumble, but you're going to get back up.
Yeah, sometimes it's not easy depending on what your resolution is.
And then you're just going to continue.
Yeah.
You will have stumbling blocks.
Naturally.
No question of a doubt with that.
Yeah.
But as long as you stay on it, then yeah. But I think people just, just want to hear the sound of their voice, I suppose, and just be like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to travel the world, and then...
They're not, I think that when
they're not motivated.
They're not motivated. I don't think they're being real and honest with themselves as well.
Yeah. Or being realistic.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah.
It being realistic or being real about whether they can achieve what they're trying to do.
In that space of time.
Because sometimes you can make a resolution, but within that year you can set goals.
Mm-hmm.
So a resolution doesn't just end there.
Yeah.
It requires other input to get you through those obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
So you set the 3 month, the 6 month, the 9 month, the 12 month, you achieve.
Mm-hmm.
But I find with resolutions, you'll find that a lot of people get to the 3 month part and it starts to break down because the eye is off. That thing saying, oh, New Year's resolution, blah, has gone.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have that pushing you anymore. Is it the fact that someone's telling you to make a resolution that's driving you, or is it you who wants to make change in your life?
It depends on the individual as well, because someone can be motivated and determined to stick to a resolution that they've made, but then there's others who just say it, but they don't really mean it, so then the action doesn't happen. They just say it to say it. I don't know why, but
just to fit in with what society says we should be doing. It's interesting. It's an interesting topic because when you look at certain things and you kind of analyze why we do things, a lot of times we're not doing things because we completely understand what we're doing. We just do things because society says we want to conform, we want to fit in, and it's not necessarily something you need to do. So sometimes you really have to think about what you're doing, know what you want in order to go forward.
Yeah.
There's a possibility you don't need to make any resolutions.
Exactly, yeah.
But that's about you knowing yourself and knowing your boundaries, your parameters, what you need to do, what's wrong or what's right in your life. Yeah,
because I feel like your resolution will come not necessarily the beginning of the year. It can come in the middle of the year. It could be
anytime.
Now.
At any point that you need a change in your life.
Right. You could experience something that's happened to you and you're like, I'm not going to be falling into that same pattern again. Let me change that.
So we definitely
and then you change it.
Are conforming to something that society says we should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important that you understand what you're doing when you're getting into stuff, because that's possibly why it fails, because you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Exactly.
If you need to change your diet, it's your body that's going to tell you need to change your diet.
That's right, not the beginning of a new year.
Yeah, if you're lacking sleep, your body's going to tell you you're lacking sleep.
Mm-hmm.
If you're drinking and you're feeling ill from drinking, your body's going to say to you, this doesn't agree with me.
Yeah.
And the same applies with food.
Yeah.
So I think people are just buying into something that doesn't necessarily work for them, and they just feel the need to do it because everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, because if you're at work and you're going to work Monday morning, be like, oh, have you done your resolutions yet? Be like, yes. So my list is, I'm changing this. I'm going to change my hair. I'm going to do this.
Feel pressured. You feel like,
and then now you're listening to that work colleague of yours, and you're like,
gets you thinking.
Maybe I need to start thinking about that now. And then you go off and start writing down a list of some things that you don't even need to do.
Overthinking.
Yeah.
just thinking you need to do something that doesn't really...
Because they've done it, you've got to do it.
Yeah, but it doesn't actually work that way.
It doesn't. Your resolution is any time.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with pinning a point where, for example, you can choose 31st of December.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say, oh, right, this is my starting block. No problem. That's not an issue. But it's understanding why you're doing what you're doing.
That's right, yeah.
Everything's personal to you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be the new year or a new year that you're actually doing
it. Yeah, that's right.
Because you will identify change on a day-to-day basis.
Of course, yeah.
It's quite an interesting subject.
It is. It really is.
Because, you know, we don't think about a lot of things.
No, we just do.
We just do because society says to do.
Yeah.
And then when you think about things, it's like, why did I do that?
Yeah, because when I hear about New Year's resolution, I'm just like, I'm rolling my eyes like, whatever. Like,
and I think people don't even take that time to question things. So long as everyone's doing, they want to jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes it helps to just stop and think about what you're doing and what you're buying into. Because I find that a lot of times people are doing things and not understanding why they're doing them.
That's right.
And then not until it goes wrong, they're like,
I should have never done that in the first place.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
I should have been doing what I was doing before.
Yeah, but you should be inquisitive and kind of question, why am I doing this? Or do I need to do this?
And what's made you do that?
So if you're just doing things to fit in with other people, then that's not really the reason to be doing it.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think the most of the time people do resolutions for betterment.
Yeah,
most definitely.
More or less, yeah.
Just to get a better life, better health.
Whatever the situation
whatever
is.
the subject is.
Yeah.
They just want to better whatever they're doing.
They always want to improve.
Yeah.
There's
indeed.
always improvement.
Room for improvement.
Yeah. In whatever it is.
Yeah. If anybody's interested in sharing their resolutions, you can contact us on 0208 638 8503 or WhatsApp text only on 07939 661 061 or www.uk.i-liveradio.com. And if you wish to connect with me, you can contact me via Facebook on Talks Honest, Instagram on Talks Honest, and Twitter at Talks Honest Show.
We need a resolution. We have so much confusion. Am I supposed to change? Are you supposed to change? Baby, let me know. You 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 let me know. Baby, let me know. You 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 let me know. Baby, let me know. You let me know. You let me know. You let me know.
Today's topic is New Year's resolutions. Do you make New Year's resolutions? Why do you make New Year's resolutions? Do you stick to the resolutions that you make? So we spoke about resolutions, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, what resolutions spring to mind? Diet seems to be one.
Yeah, that's like one of the most common ones.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
I think exercise is another one.
Oh, yeah.
People always say they more get fitter for the new year, especially after overindulge.
Yeah, that's right. That's very true. Yeah.
Spending's a major.
Oh, yeah. Because obviously, you know,
spend less for 2000.
Right, because you tend to over the Christmas you spend a lot in it on buying gifts and stuff. But then, you know what I do read in like the newspapers where you got people who buy their stuff from January for the December.
That's really organised, right?
That is proper organised. Like, it makes sense though, because then when it comes to the actual month of December, you're laughing. You're like,
but when you think about it, not when it comes to the month of December, technically speaking, if you've done all your shopping in January of the following year, or the year approaching the next Christmas, you've got the whole year to yourself.
True. Yeah, so you're
technically speaking, right.
You're
like,
good.
Once you go through the January sales, buy all your shopping, put everything aside, you may have to buy the odd one here and there.
Yeah, but then you get that early. You can still get that early.
You're budgeting.
Yeah.
So therefore, you're not going to feel any strain on your pocket, are you?
When it comes to Christmas time,
you'll probably be traveling around the world.
That's it. Yeah. Well, you never know. Yeah, you could go somewhere for your Christmas and not necessarily stay here, innit?
Yeah. So a lot of people tend to save more as well, don't they?
Yeah.
That's one of the resolutions that really springs to mind. I want to save more, spend less, yeah.
So they try and work out how they're going to budget and stuff like that going into the year. Because I know obviously the new financial year is like in April, so so then for them planning that will be their plan from January to March,
moving forward,
and then from there they can see how they're gonna be money wise going further. Yeah. So I think that's a good one. I think, all right, with that one now, I think yes,
it's a good resolution.
Is a good resolution to start from that. Because of the financial year. Because our financial year is not the end of the year. It's the end of March going into April.
Well, the financial year depends on a number of things. It could depend on if you're a limited company, depend on when you start up your business.
Yeah.
So your financial year will be from the month start to the month end.
Yeah.
So everyone has a different financial pattern or start of their year.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but yeah, most people would use the financial year based on
the general one,
how their companies, who they work for, budget. So yeah. But that's a really good one.
Yeah, I think that one.
I think we all do that one. Even though we don't sit down and say, I'm going to make a resolution, we all budget, we all spend less.
Yeah, we try to.
Coming into the new year.
Yeah.
So another one that kind of sprung to mind was hobbies.
Have a new hobby or something.
Hobbies, didn't we?
Yeah.
Or learn new skills.
That is another one. Yeah. Now thinking about it, that is true. Yeah. So I think for me, learning how to use the Serato. So for those who don't know what Serato is, it's like a DJ platform thing where you put your music on there and you learn how to mix and do loops and stuff like that. So that's my thing. That's one of my
That's your new baby.
Yeah.
Obviously, the common one is to quit smoking. A lot of people take that as a resolution.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And some stick to it, some don't.
Some don't. Yeah.
Any more that you can think of?
Cutting down on social media and using your internet a lot.
Oh.
Some people have said they want to limit
Reduce
that.
it.
Yeah, or reduce it down.
I have actually said that with regards to the mobile phone. Cut down on my usage of the phone.
Yeah.
And use a phone for what a phone is supposed to be used for. And that's going back to basic phones.
Yeah.
I think that the mobile phone has consumed us too much.
It has.
And it's taken away the communication levels between us and other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good resolution, to cut back on using the mobile phone, so to speak.
Yeah.
Or what you said, the social media.
Yeah.
A lot of people say they want a new job. People always say that.
Yeah, they always say that.
And
But that's like any time of the year with that one, because it could be like around the summertime, and you know, you're just fed up with your boss now, and you're just like, I need to get out of this job, like quick. Like I need to find something quick.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah,
generally, another job,
that is a New Year thing. They start to do their job hunting, because then you do get people who start leaving work around that Christmas time.
Yeah.
So then those vacancies come available in the new year.
Yeah, well, definitely.
So that is interesting with that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and drinking, obviously people want to drink less.
Yeah, they want to cut down.
Drinking.
Yeah, or stop altogether.
Yeah. And the most important one, I think, is spending time with that family, your family.
Yeah.
You know, close people. Making that time.
Yeah.
To connect with those people you really, really, really care about.
Yeah, it's true, you know, because it's like, for me, I haven't seen some of my friends this year. I think I've seen one of them, and that's early up this year. I haven't seen them recent or anything like that.
I'm sitting, you're saying that, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, I travel a lot, so I come back to London, and it's like, oh, when am I going to see you? When am I going to see you? And I'm thinking, oh yeah, next week. Oh, and then 2 I'm gone again.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you just said that, I just thought to myself, oh wow, since I've got back, who have I seen?
Yeah.
And then the first thing that sprung my mind, oh my God, I haven't seen this person, but the list is just no end. And it's not because I don't want to go and see them.
Yeah.
It's like, I've just been so busy since I've got back, and I generally don't have the time.
And it's not like it's an excuse or anything.
It's not as though I'm sitting at home doing nothing. I'm out and about doing what I need to do.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think that's one thing I need to probably take up. Not necessarily as a New Year's resolution, but something I need to try and find more time to be with people that I care for. But I just feel like there's not enough hours in a day.
It's not.
Especially if you're working.
Yeah.
And then you've got other things going
on as well.
And then it's as though you have to juggle your time.
And that's it. I think the only time we have is when you're going to sleep. And then before you know it, you're back on the grind again. And then
they say that, technically speaking, to make time you sleep less. That's where you get that extra time.
Yeah.
But the body doesn't work like that.
It doesn't.
The body says you need to rest. You
have to. That's right.
Yes. I think we just push our bodies too far to that point. So yeah, if you do want to connect with us, please contact us on 0208 638 8503. You can also WhatsApp text only us on 07 939 661 061. Also, if you wish to connect with me, you can contact me on Facebook, Talks Honest, Instagram, Talks Honest, and Twitter @Talks Honest Show. So for those of you that are interested or make New Year's resolutions, I'm intrigued to know what inspires you, what you look for or what you look at when you're making your resolutions. Obviously, your resolution is a reflection of you and what's not going well, or things that you've identified,
or things that have happened throughout the year.
Yes.
That you've probably noted, not necessarily pen to paper, but mentally noted.
Yeah.
Like, how do you change that going forward if you're someone who does New Year's resolutions? So, for example, you know, there are options of where, you know, someone might be in a job that they're not happy in.
Yes.
Or they feel that they want to get a bigger salary and they're not going to get it there, so they need to start looking towards in the new year, right, I'm going to start job hunting while I'm still in the current job that I'm in, and so forth. So I can understand that happening, because it's not easy just for you to just, you know, give up your job and feel like you can just get into something else. Obviously, it might take a while for you. But I think with that, having a New Year's resolution helps for that, because it's like you get that little break through the festive season.
Yeah.
Maybe to reflect on what, if you want to stay in that type of job, if you want to go into something else. So then when you hit the first working week of the new year, that's when you go in hard. You start to update your CVs.
Yeah, because you do tend to do a lot of thinking in the new year, don't you?
Yeah.
You tend to, like we said, reflect on how your previous year went.
Yeah. And
try to right wrongs, so to speak, or make things better for the next year.
Yeah.
I think it is mostly, the resolution thing is more about bettering yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's not to penalise yourself or put pressure on yourself. It's just you reflect on the previous year, you identify the things that you could have done better, and moving forward you want to make those small changes.
So you know, by the end of 2020, this is what I should have accomplished or in the process of.
Going back to a point, now it's said that the majority of people who make New Year's resolutions tend to fail in their resolutions.
Yeah.
That's something that's quite interesting, because when you enter into something, or you put your mind to something, you're doing it to better yourself.
Yeah.
Or to make change.
Yeah.
So why would it be that you want to make change in your life, for example? You've chosen to do something to better yourself, but then along the way you decide, I can't do this anymore, and I'm just going to stop doing it. Now your aim is to better yourself. So those people who are making those resolutions and then they're failing their resolutions, do they need support? Are they looking for someone to help? Because obviously when you make a resolution, your aim is to stick to it.
Yeah, it just depends on what it is. If it's finding a new job, yeah, it would be nice to have that support. Maybe you have friends or family that could suggest, oh well, there's a vacancy going on such and such place, do you want to apply for that?
So technically speaking, when we're thinking about this now, I'm starting to get a bit deeper now. We make resolutions, we want to better ourselves, we're making those steps, but there's a breakdown somewhere, because so many people can't be failing because they want to fail. Yeah, they're failing because there's a loophole somewhere.
I think because I don't think they've actually sat down and thought it through properly.
Yeah,
they've followed
what everyone else is doing, and not really thought about the impact on what they're trying to do, and whether they're actually capable of achieving what they're trying to achieve.
Yeah, and it does go back to what subject it is, as in with someone who wants to exercise more, eat healthier, that's a process.
Of course.
And with that, because I'm speaking on that because I can relate to it.
Okay.
There's a process with it. So you you are determined, but you know there's going to be days where you're going to stumble. But if, for example, you may not have the support of your peers, a good option that I have chosen is I had like these A1 size paper, like a big piece of poster paper.
Oh, okay.
And I used my highlighter pens to write down the meals that I should be having that is better for me.
Yes.
I wrote on there my once a month treats, just the things that I should be eating and replacing instead of eating like the things that I shouldn't be eating. Now, me having that on display in my kitchen, I see it all the time.
So it helps you.
So while I'm walking into the kitchen, I see it. I'm like, oh, okay. I know I've got to do that.
That's possibly a good idea to keep up with your resolutions.
Yeah. If you have something visually that shows you all the time that, as I said, I'm talking from my experience
with your
having it in your face all the time, it gets stuck in your brain.
So even like having a reminder on your phone that pops up, with your resolution for the year.
Yeah, you could have that on a month. You could have that at the end of the month. Like maybe have a thing where you ask questions for yourself.
Yeah.
So how are you going with your resolutions? Yeah. Have you stumbled during that month of January? And then maybe answer those questions that you're asking yourself and fill that out, and then look at that and then think, well, what can I do different now going into February? Because I think with resolutions, people think of it long term.
Long term, yeah.
But you don't need to think of it as all the months, because you could accomplish that resolution, say by March. But it's so natural to you now. It's just your daily routine now. So with that, I think that would be a good idea to have on your calendar. That
sounds like a really, really good idea.
And just ask yourself, how are you getting on?
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I suggested support. But obviously, there's not always someone there.
That's right. There's not everyone here.
We have these tools.
Yeah.
So it may be an idea to utilize those tools to our advantage.
Yeah, that is a suggestion. And I think that would work. I think that would work for any resolution you're doing.
Yeah.
You just need to ask the right questions for that subject or that resolution that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
For like someone trying to find a new job. Have like one of your CVs up.
Put the list of the jobs.
You're looking right for. Yeah. The websites you want to go
target,
and then maybe say, each day or each week I send out such amount.
And your goal at the end of the day is to have a job by such and such.
Yeah.
So that's why when we were talking, I was saying prior, like resolutions have a lot to do with goals and dreams.
Yeah.
Because obviously, and targets that we set for ourselves.
Yeah.
So you make a resolution at the beginning of there, and you check in every 3 months to see how you're progressing, and you tailor it to say, well, okay, I haven't done this and this, so I'm going to give myself an extra month to do this, and I need to achieve this by this time. So it's like, it's not something you can just do at the beginning of the year and think, okay, 3 months in, I can't do this, because what you're doing is putting a lot of pressure on yourself,
and then you're doubting yourself now, and that makes you,
and then it makes it seem
you don't want to do it now.
It's not achievable. When in actual fact it is achievable, it's just the way that you've gone about doing it hasn't allowed you to achieve it because you haven't put enough things in place.
That's right.
So it's quite a tricky subject, and if you don't make resolutions, you will struggle with this subject to the point that you can't think beyond it. So like we've kind of gone in now,
but I think taking those necessary steps I feel will help,
of course,
in some way. When people think of trying to achieve something, I wouldn't necessarily say put a date when you want to accomplish it. I would say take it month by month,
step by step,
and see your progress. as I said before, you will have stumbling blocks
Naturally.
where maybe I don't feel like looking for jobs this week. I don't feel like sending out 20 CVs and 20 application forms. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Fine. But go back to your question.
Block here.
Remember why you're doing that.
Yeah. And what your achievements are.
Right. And then you'll get back on it and continue.
Because at the end of the day, it boils down to your goal. It's a goal you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
So you're making these resolutions for the simple reason you want to better yourself, or you want to see a change in you and you going forward.
And I think also as well, they do have New Year's resolution quotes that you can read. You can have them on your phone, look at them.
Yeah, to
just encourage you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, they're accessible on Google. I mean, you'd be surprised how much information
there's loads
is there. You just type in quotes or whatever it may be.
Yeah,
it's good to use the tools that we have available to us.
That's right. Yeah,
because a lot of times we do things and we don't think there's a support. So it's not sometimes a physical somebody.
Yeah,
but you can look at information and that gives you that little extra push.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's something that you think about, but sometimes you need to go a little bit further than just thinking about it. And even though you're putting it into practice, it does help to do a bit of research, because there's many other people in the same position as you.
That's right.
Got to the 3 months and they can't continue. And there are statistics that say that most people tend to fail their resolution by the end of January.
Yeah,
that's a statistic.
Wow.
So looking at that in itself, a lot of time we set ourselves up to fail because we plant the seed, but we don't water it.
Right, that's true.
So therefore we don't see growth.
That's right, yeah.
So it's food for thought.
It definitely is. It definitely is. But I think that's an idea for people who may struggle.
Most definitely.
With that.
Yeah, that A4 paper,
or even if you don't want to do it on the paper, just on your phone.
Yeah, on your phone.
Yeah, because I know there's people who put Post-its.
Yes, that's another thing.
Like on their mirror, in their bedroom, so they can see it. They do like affirmations as well to give them that encouragement to push on with whatever goal.
They're in different parts. Sometimes they're in their bag.
Yeah.
They're, all the different things that they're trying to achieve are in the different places.
Yeah.
So every time they go into something, they see
something there. So it's a constant reminder.
Yeah. And some people can't cope with that, but you just start small.
Yeah. It's not
it's a work in progress.
Just what you feel comfortable with. If it's just something you write in your notes on your phone, you do that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like 10 questions. It could be just 3 questions that you just put there that you ask yourself.
Yeah.
Like, how are you doing this month with your New Year's resolution? And you can have that question for each month.
Yeah, most definitely.
And each month it will change.
Yeah. Touching on this subject, it's been a tricky one, hasn't it?
It has.
I think one thing we must do is have hope.
Oh, definitely.
We must try new things. Be active.
Yeah.
See the good. Say I love you. More. Challenge yourself.
Yeah. Smile.
Choose to be happy.
Yeah.
Eat better.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Enjoy today.
Yeah.
Because remember, tomorrow isn't guaranteed.
Very true.
Forgive more readily. Read more often, because education is key. It's something we feel that we don't have time to do, but we need to make that time.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that, yeah.
And more than anything else is become your best self. So some of the things that we should think about doing more. Listening springs to mind. Doing a lot more. Drinking a lot more water. Eating healthier. Being more encouraging. Hoping more. Believing so much more. Exercising and working out more. And most importantly, smiling more. These are things that just make us feel good about ourselves, make us feel internally happy, and just help us to be better people internally, externally, because we're thinking positively. And some New Year's goals would be to worry less, stop comparing, embrace challenges, and more than anything, love myself. These are just a few things that we should think about as goals moving forward. I would like to thank everyone who's supported me so far since starting my show. If you've missed any previous shows of Talks Honest, you can listen back on Spotify and iTunes podcasts. I'd like to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Good night and God bless.
What if we spoke honestly? 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 What if we spoke honestly?